please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Hello everyone, welcome to the 309th, yeah we've been going that long, exhibition of stupid people. Today we're going to start with a grievance side take with YouTube Shorts and TikTok. I'm going to use a particular type of creator to demonstrate my point. The following video.
Guys, me and my little sister are in jail forever. Guys, see, I told you, we're in jail. Join the live right now, guys. We're really trapped in here forever.
Now, when this video came up on my TikTok feed, the live icon on this user was lit. I thought, let's go be nosy for a second to prove a point, because I've seen a lot of these creators. It was a still image, this image, as you can see with the caption, showering with sister BRB. They did nothing. This user, like many, does nothing. I've seen gamers who have Fortnite on the lower half of their screen, while they're on the top half pulling a shocked face because they're getting followers. They do nothing for hours but be surprised, and then they only respond to negative comments. This fake content is a part of a ridiculously lazy era, and there are others. I saw another person live streaming where all they were asking was for people to join their Discord, build the community, keep growing everyone, add nothing of substance to the conversation, to any conversation in fact, just constantly saying please join my Discord server. I don't know whose fault this is, if we're going to assign blame, but I'm going to state outright, this is not content, this is lesser non-tent to Amblin Reed's non-tent. Like, you're inferior to her. That's how much non-tent you idiots produce. I see this on YouTube Shorts, I see this heavily on TikTok. The nature of the ecosphere on TikTok is dependent on people producing this kind of rubbish, where they don't do anything, but expect everyone to turn up, others to join, share the live, but say and do nothing to entertain, to engage, as it were. There is a reason professional streamers do better with numbers and income long term. The reason why is because they play a longer game. You play a short game for gratification and because you think it makes you important. Don't forget here, you could have tens of millions of followers, hundreds of millions of followers on TikTok and still be a literal nobody. That same metric does not apply to platforms like YouTube. Hell, I'd argue Twitch as well, of course. Might even consider Instagram and maybe Twitter. TikTok is right at the bottom, and content like this is exactly why. Playing on the idea of incest as well, I don't quite understand that one, but I have seen other videos of people saying, oh, if I fail to do this, then I'll do Turbulence live with my sister. I promise you this, they're not brother and sister, and if you find the female who's usually in this little weird claimed incest story, her Instagram will have a link to an Only Fibro failed adult film acting account. This is up there with the YouTube Shorts of creators who just do a expression on part of the screen with a meme on it with some crappy music in the background. Don't anyone like that now, do we? By the way, I'd also pigeonhole anyone that takes one of those random heartfelt moments and then adds some AI commentary. You won't believe what happens next. Crap. I may get stick for sounding like a robot half the time, I understand that. But I am going to gatekeep what is or is not entertainment, even if I myself am not entertaining. So next on the agenda, Just Stop Oil, because obviously I have to feature them at some point. We have some consequences potentially in September, on September 27th, for two protesters that we've discussed before, Phoebe Plummer and Anna Holland, who threw soup at the painting of Vincent van Gogh's Off's Sunflowers.
Security.
What is worth more? life.
They were found guilty of criminal damage. Judge Christopher something told them both they came within the width of a pane of glass of destroying one of the most valuable artworks in the world, and to be prepared, in practical and emotional terms, to go to prison. Now, while the painting itself was not damaged because of a pane of glass, there is something else though with this painting that was damaged. The prosecutors pointed out that the frame is an antique 17th century Italian frame, and that in and of itself is a piece of art. Its patinated surface was damaged as a result of this protest. The judge's bail conditions stipulated the two were not to visit any galleries or museums, as well as not to carry glue, paint or other adhesive substances in public places. The pink-haired twerp has been seen in public a couple times getting arrested in coffee shops because of certain restrictions placed upon them where they weren't allowed to go out and about. Oh, what a shame. I like that as time has gone by, more people are suffering consequences for this. I saw a video of Just Stop Oil's Cressida Gethin's brother. He posted a video on TikTok talking about the fact that his sister is going to lose years of her life in prison for her involvement in, well, Just Stop Oil shenanigans.
So I've just been watching some of the awful and atrocious comments about my sister Cressida, who's lost 4 years of her life simply for trying to do what was right for this planet. And it is not only bad enough that she has had 4 years of her life removed, that she will no longer be able to attend my wedding, but I am now seeing very serious and valid threats online that my wedding in itself is going to be ambushed with people trying to block the visitors and orange paint strewn everywhere.
And I still stand by what I've said before. You deserve it. Simple as that. I believe in the right to protest. What they did for the M25? Nah, that wasn't a protest. No, that was massive national scale disruption. Yeah, no. It caused problems and hurt people. The other part of this story I'd like to talk about involves 2 protesters for Just Stop Oil again who were arrested at Heathrow's Terminal 5. Now, I've been to Terminal 5 because I've had to take the tube in London from King's Cross, one line to the end, to Terminal 5. So I recognise this area. They sell yum nuts in the M&S. If you know what a jam-filled yum nut is, yeah. These 2 protesters painted orange everywhere. Within minutes, obviously they were arrested on suspicion of criminal damage. I mean, they squirted all their orange goo over the check-in information pages. They, yeah, nah. A Heathrow spokesperson has said, working with partners, we have quickly resolved a protest incident in Terminal 5, and all involved have been removed from the airport, with the airport operating as normal and passengers are travelling as planned. Now, where this gets interesting is that one of those protesters we discussed earlier, didn't we? Phoebe Plummer. Who wants to put money on these 2 bozos actually calling the tabloids ahead of time to let them know they were going to do it? Because any press is good, right? She's at it again, everyone. This silly bish is going to go to prison, and she knows she is. So she's making sure she gets it all out of her system before she goes. Forgetting here that if she's found guilty of all this criminal damage after this one, doesn't mean it's going to be excused. No, they'll have a separate trial and add more time to it. Committing acts of criminal damage, you silly prat, isn't going to change anything, is it for you, you silly sausage? I like the word silly. Word of the day. Before we continue, an honourable mention. Last week in the exhibition of stupid people, we discussed a global advertiser alliance boycotting X or Twitter, which forced Elon Musk to file a lawsuit accusing the group of orchestrating a massive advertiser boycott. The World Federation of Advertisers, the WFA, told members on Thursday it would shut down the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, GARM, following legal attacks from X. GARM is considered a not-for-profit initiative within the WFA that helps brands avoid advertising alongside or monetizing harmful content. A statement on the GARM website read, "GARM is a small not-for-profit initiative and recent allegations that unfortunately misconstrue its purpose and activities have caused a distraction and significantly drained its resources and finances. GARM therefore is making the decision to discontinue its activities." The CEO of Twitter, Linda Yaccarino, tweeted, "No small group should be able to monopolize what gets monetized. This is an important acknowledgement and a necessary step in the right direction. I'm hopeful it means ecosystem-wide reform is coming." I figured I'd put this in as an honourable mention because I have a feeling it's going to resurface in the near future. I guess as we have the subject of advertisers from Musk's honourable mention here, we can now segue to another sponsor. Charlton Athletic Football Club have recently cut ties with a sponsor after they appeared to endorse Tommy Robinson on their social media profile. Darren New is a lifelong Charlton fan whose companies have sponsored the club in various ways, as well as Charlton Athletic Community Trust events. On his Twitter account, statements appeared to be sympathetic to the far-right agitator, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon because that has to always feature. He reposted videos of Robinson claiming the current violence was not his fault, but the fault of the UK government's immigration policies and two-tier policing, adding, "Not one thing that he says here is controversial or incorrect." The following day, posting a Robinson video with Alex Jones, in which Robinson claimed the riots were provoked and orchestrated by the police and UK government, adding, "The truth below, and if you can't see this, you need to register for a guide dog." Now, I know it might be a contentious subject with my audience, but you cannot deny how Keir Starmer and the police chose to handle this was poor. And that's not in hindsight, I said it during as well. Especially because, and I still believe this, the only reason Keir Starmer's clamping down on Facebook posts is because when he was in the Crown Prosecution's service, he tried to sue somebody or take them to court for a joke on Twitter. It was called the Joke Twitter Trial, one of his biggest fails. Now he's Prime Minister, he can legislate to actually make this happen, so your jokes on social media get you put in prison. As a consequence of sharing these videos, his company, Brand New, are no longer a sponsor of Charlton Athletic Football Club, and the club themselves are going to be revising how they do deals with sponsors in the future. This raises a number of really interesting questions about values, and of course the impact on the community. It also raises questions about what one's individual right to speak freely is in the grand scope space of social media, and how that apparently your personal beliefs can also impact your professional life. Darren, for the sake of it, did terminate his Twitter account because he cares too much about Charlton to do that, which seems like a weird acquiesce, but it's not my place to judge that. But I did want to raise it because it sort of ties into Musk's lawsuit. Moving on from that, 3 Columbia University deans resign after exchanging anti-Semitic text messages. Susan Chang Kim, Kristen Crom and Matthew Patashnik have not apologised for their actions, while a 4th official has. They had originally been suspended, but not sacked, after the messages were leaked to the Washington Free Beacon following a panel discussion about Jewish life on the 31st of May. A 4th official, Joseph Soret, remained in his position after publicly apologising for his actions. In the texts, which proved a major embarrassment for an institution already grappling with accusations of anti-Semitism, one dean suggested a Jewish speaker was playing up concerns to raise money. Another dean sent vomit emojis when a college newspaper opinion piece authored by a local rabbi was mentioned. Now, without seeing the messages, the article here does not provide them, we cannot see the context and see whether or not it was entirely because of their own anti-Semitic position, or because of perhaps the article itself, or perhaps because they were observing something that might lend some truth to it. Some people do, regardless of background, like to milk a situation for own personal gain or to drive up interest in the subject. Faith might in this instance play a part. However, the college itself, the university, is dealing with enough problems with accusations of anti-Semitism. This does not help anyone involved. And this, by the way, offers a great opportunity to also mention a Labour MP for Rochester and Stroud, who has publicly apologised after some tweets from 2009 came to light. Quote, I want these, expletive, yes, Estonian retards out of my flat now. Now, I'm not going to justify that language. Of course I'm not. I'm as PG as they get. I'm like the John Cena of the internet. No, I'm more like Eugene. Now, I'm not going to justify, I'm just going to state, because it isn't justification, these words were acceptable at a time. Same can be for other language used decades earlier. Language and society progress and change, okay? We should not be ashamed of who we were, unless who we were the very first people I was talking about today. Because I hope when you guys all grow up, you damn well say sorry for the fake content you made. In this instance, I don't think the politician, Lauren Edwards is her name, I don't believe Lauren should apologise for those comments because we don't know the full context. And by the way, that word, the R word, yes, used as a profanity, was quite common, back then especially. I doubt you'll find many who didn't say it. In fact, the words had a renaissance on Twitter where it is used more frequently again, because it should be free to use. Many words should be, actually. It's why I'd like to revive the words prat, plonker, tosspot, dipshit. I think they all deserve their day in the sun. They're not as, well, offensive, I guess, but they'll get there. I'm a hard worker at that. I will stand by what I say, though I do not believe she should apologise. We don't know the full context, and the word in the context of this is merely you having a dunk on someone who's Estonian. We had an issue with some workers in this country that came from other countries, or people that came to this country from other countries who did not integrate properly, and it became quite commonplace, especially then, to pigeonhole based on something we could label you with. Nationality is one of them, especially if you bring certain cultural practices from your country that do not work well in this country here. One of the worst traits I found from Eastern Europe when working with especially Polish guys when I worked in Norwich fixing phones for a big company was that a lot of them didn't know how to use a toilet because they were used to a hole in the ground. And so the toilet was unusable. But mercifully, none of them realised that the rest of us would just use the disabled toilet. Now, I know that's TMI, but I'm not sharing my own personal habits. I'm not that guy. Anyway, I think we're done here. I was going to talk about Deadpool Wolverine because I found some rather interesting contradictory articles saying how it's a bad movie because it's not as heartfelt as The Flash, but I thought I might save that for a short. It's too funny. Yeah. Do let me know what you think in the comments. I shall be streaming on Twitch tonight, but I'm also doing a research stream on Moisky Live for Chantel's or Foodie Beauty Big Beautiful Me's July 2024. Do join us. I hope to see you all there. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening.